There's this idea with credit cards where your first credit card doesn't actually matter and it's just a way to build up credit. But with my first student card, I was able to earn over $500 with it in just the first year. And if you follow the strategies that I lay out in this video, these cards I'm going to show you can slingshot you into your credit card journey and also provide value in your wallet for years to come. Plus, most people that are making videos about the best student credit cards haven't been in college for literally decades. And since I just went through this process myself not too long ago, I want to share with you everything that I've learned from actually going through this experience myself. So if you're watching this video, chances are that you're not that familiar with credit cards, and I wouldn't feel right about making this video if I didn't teach you how to use them properly. It's very important that you get a credit card to build up credit as a student. When used wisely, credit cards can help students graduate with a strong credit score, which can do things like help them get their very first apartment, rent or buy cars, and even get a job in some cases. However, a lot of students just don't use their credit cards right and don't understand them. What I personally see a lot of students do is when they go out on nights out and they start drinking, they are broke and they don't have any way to buy more drinks or get fast food or whatever. So they then use their credit card to spend money that they don't have, and then they end up in that debt. Then if those students only pay the monthly minimum payments on their cards, they are putting themselves in a place where they could potentially be in credit card debt for decades. A recent study done by College Finance showed that 65% of students have credit card debt, and the average student credit card debt is $3,280. But the average credit limit is only $3,568, meaning that most students are using almost their full credit limit. The credit limit is how much you can spend on your credit card. So a lot of times it's hard for me to actually recommend students to get credit cards when I know the majority of them are going to put themselves in crippling debt by using it. But I kind of look at it like marriage a little bit. Hear me out. So most marriages end in divorce, but that's not an argument to not get married at all. Instead, you would look at the failed marriages and try to see what exactly went wrong so that your marriage doesn't end in divorce. Unless you're an incel that spends all day on Reddit, you're not just going to take marriage and throw it out and say, I'm never going to get married, because most of them end in divorce. And it's the same thing with credit cards. You kind of do need to get a credit card, and just because the majority of people don't use them right, doesn't mean that you shouldn't get one. And luckily, you don't have to go through all the complexities of finding out how to make a marriage work. All you have to do with credit cards is pay your balance off in full and on time. But there's still two prerequisites I have before you get your first credit card. Number one is that you have a budget. And trust me, I know budget when you're young sounds like you're going to be restricting yourself, and when all your friends want to go out, you have to say no. But when you budget, you find that just naturally you stop spending money on all this stupid stuff that doesn't actually make your life better, and you have more money left over for the stuff that you actually want. I recommend that you use the app Copilot. That automatically links all your accounts so you can see your debt, your investments, all your different bank and credit card transactions. And once every couple of days, you can go in there and categorize them. So it does most of the work for you, but there's also a bunch of other budgeting apps out there. And then my second prerequisite is that make sure that you at least have something in savings. So if something happens, then you're not going to have to use your credit card as an emergency fund. So after you have those two things in check, you are then able to get your first credit card. And you can get something called a student credit card. That is tailored to people like you, most likely, that is brand new or has very little credit. So here's how a credit card works. Every month, you get a credit limit or an amount that you can spend on your card. And every month when you swipe with your credit card and borrow the bank's money, and then at the end of the month pay it back, that is going to report to the credit bureaus and your credit score is going to go up. When you use a credit card, you're borrowing money that you have to pay back. Each month you'll get a bill with your statement balance on it or how much you spent with the card. I'm actually going to go right now into my Discover app and show you what it looks like. So you can see that my statement balance was $323.56. I have two options. When that due date comes, I can either pay that off or I can just pay part of that off. You can see here that it gives me an option to pay the minimum due, which is only $35 instead of that $323. And if I do that, then whatever money I don't pay off, in this case, it would be $288. That is what I am paying interest on. And interest rates are crazy high with credit cards. I'm going to be paying something like 30% interest, which is absolutely insane, which is why it's so important to pay your full balance off each and every month, because if you do that, then you're not going to pay any interest at all. I've taken literally thousands of dollars from credit card companies, and I've never paid a cent in interest. So if you're wondering how I've earned thousands of dollars with my credit card, if you have a good credit card like the ones I'm going to show you in this video, every time you swipe your credit card is going to give you rewards. And as long as you use your credit card like a debit card and pay it off every single month in full, there's going to be zero downsides and only pluses because you're getting those rewards and not having to pay any interest for them. The easiest way to never miss a payment is to set up auto pay. If we go ahead and look at my Discover app again, if we go to the payments page, you can see right here that there's a little button to press automatic payments. If I then press that, it will bring me to a page where I can put in my banking information, and then every month it will pay my card off in full and on time for me. So first thing you do after you set your credit card up is set up automatic payments. One last reason to get a credit card before we actually get into the list is a lot of people are authorized users on their parents' credit cards, and that will get you a good credit score, but your credit profile is still going to be pretty weak, so you're actually still going to want to get your own credit card. Okay, so my favorite student credit card is called the Discover It card. That is going to be this little beauty right here, and there's a couple reasons why I love it so much. So number one is because there's over 100 designs that you can choose from. The first time I applied for a credit card, there was two different ones I was looking at. First was the Petal, and then the other one was the Apple card. And the reason why I wanted these is because they were shiny and metal, and I just wanted a cool card. All the reward stuff didn't really make sense to me, but I'm glad I didn't get those. Those weren't actually good cards. But luckily, you have a bunch of different options with the Discover card. There's black ones, gold ones, there's even a Braille one, and one with a little frog on it, so you get quite a bit to choose from. But probably something a little bit more important with that is going to be the rewards that you're going to earn with it. So with the Discover It card, you're going to earn 1% back on every single one of your purchases, and then 5% back in rotating categories. But Discover is actually going to match or double that cash back. So for the first year, it's more like you're earning 2% back on every single one of your purchases, and then 10% back on rotating categories. So what a rotating category is, every 3 months or quarter of the year, you're going to earn 5% back in a new spend category. So for example, the first 3 months might be something like groceries, the next 3 months might be something like restaurants, and then the next 3 months, gas, and then maybe the last 3 months, Amazon. But regardless, these categories are always very good. And you're going to be able to earn rewards up to $1,500 in the spend category each month, which would be $300 a year or $600 if you take that match into account. But like I said, you're also getting 1% or 2% for that first year. And the reason why that's so significant is because this is most likely going to be the only card in your wallet, and you're going to be putting a lot of spend on it. So getting a flat 2% back is going to be very powerful. And then the other reason why I love this credit card is because what it's going to do to your credit profile. So pretty much the way that your credit score works is set up automatic payments, pay your balance off each month, and then your credit score is going to go up. But if we go a level deeper than that, we get into the strength of your credit profile. Let's give an example. Let's say that you wanted a new card from Chase Bank. I'm Chase Bank and I get two different applications. Number one is someone with a credit card with a $500 limit, and then the other one is someone with a credit limit of $5,000. Remember, our credit limit is how much you get to spend on your credit card, or essentially how much of the bank's money that they trust you with. I would be a lot more likely to approve and give a higher credit limit to the person that already has a $5,000 credit limit because they've already been trusted with money in the past. That's why I love Discover, because they're very good with giving credit limit increases. When you first get your Discover It student card, you're most likely going to have around a $500 limit, but within a year, it's not very hard to get all the way up to a $2,000 limit. That's what happened with my Discover card. So after you have this card for about a year, it's going to be a lot easier to get approved for things like other credit cards, mortgages, even a car loan, and your profile is just going to be a lot stronger. And then the last reason that I love this card is just because how simple and good the user interface is. Last thing, and I wish someone told me this when I got my Discover card, is use a referral link. And the reason why is because you get an extra $100. That's $100 extra that Discover gives you that you wouldn't get if you just went and applied through their website. I'll have a referral link down in the comments. Also, when you get approved, you also get your own referral link. So if you have some friends that need to start building credit, you can also share it with them, and you personally get an extra $100 as well. Also forgot to mention it, but Discover It also has no foreign transaction fee, meaning if you're studying abroad or you're doing some travel overseas, you're not going to be penalized for using it. However, if you want a credit card that you don't have to worry about tracking rotating categories, and also one of the only 2 credit cards that you need to pretty much travel for free for the rest of your life, look no further than the Saver Student. You're going to earn an unlimited 3% back at groceries, dining, entertainment, and streaming services. And then of course 1% back on everything else. But the 2 big ones that stick out is that 3% back on dining and groceries. And the reason why I love this card so much for students is that if you pair it in the future with Capital One's travel card, the Venture X, you can take the cash back and convert it to miles, and then use those miles with Capital One's transfer partners to get free travel. So the way transfer partners work is, let's say you had a $10 gift card to In-N-Out, but you really wanted to go to Pizza Hut instead. You could go to the register and then trade your $10 gift card for a pizza gift card, and then you get what you want. This is pretty much the same way transfer partners work. You transfer out your credit card points to airlines or hotels, and then you get to stay there for free. And sometimes if you do that, your points can be worth all the way up to double the cash back value, so it's more like you're earning 6% on dining and groceries, which is really good. This card's also going to give you a $50 sign-up bonus after you spend $100 within 3 months, and $50 isn't going to change your life or pay off your student loans, but you know, it's free money from Capital One, and at least they're giving you something. You also have to pay no annual fee or foreign transaction fee, so just like the Discover card, you can use this overseas. And let's say you're a college student and you're not traveling right now, but you know in a year or two when you graduate, you're going to want to do some travel. You can actually save up all the cash back that you're earning with your Saver card, and then when you're ready to travel, get that Venture X, and then use all the points that you've been saving up during college to book some really nice free trips. We won't cover the Venture X too much in this video, but just know it's a premium travel credit card that pretty much gives you everything that you'd ever want. The Saver card and the Venture X is what's commonly referred to as the Capital One duo, and if you use your Saver for dining and groceries and then your Venture X for everything else in travel, you're pretty much set on your credit card strategy. If you don't want to get anything else, you can just get those two cards and then quit. So definitely an amazing strategy to do while you're in college. All right, so if you don't mess with Capital One or you already bank with Chase, I would go with my number 3 option, and that is going to be the Chase Freedom Rise. What this card is going to give you is 1.5% back on every single one of your purchases, but just like the Saver card, if you get Chase's travel credit card in the future, you can use that 1.5% back, transfer it out to the transfer partners, and get close to double the value, so it's almost like you're getting 3% back on every single one of your purchases. So just like the Saver card, you can just use this for all your purchases in college. When you're ready to travel, get Chase's travel credit card, and then use all the points you've been storing up to book free travel. Another big reason why I love the Chase Freedom Rise is just like that Discover card, after 6 months, they're most likely going to give you a credit limit increase if you've been paying off your balance on time and in full every month. And then after a year, they're going to upgrade you to the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which is very similar to the Chase Freedom Rise, but it also gives you 3 points back on dining and then drugstores as well. This was actually my friend's first card. He started with, he said around a $1,000 credit limit, but then after 6 months, they upped him to a $1,500 credit limit. And then now after a year, he's at a $3,300 credit limit. And they actually gave him a count out timer to when he would upgrade to the Freedom Unlimited, which was exactly 1 year. To get approved for the Freedom Rise, you don't need any prior credit history, but you will need $250 in a Chase savings or checking account. The only problem with that is Chase isn't a bank that you should really be using because their checking has service fees, and then their savings account pretty much gives you nothing in interest, where other savings account can give you all the way up to 4%. If you already bank with Chase, then this is a good option, but you could also just open up the savings or checking account, put $250 in it, apply, get this card, and then close the savings or checking account down. Another reason this is in the 3rd place is it does come with a 3% foreign transaction fee, so this isn't a card that you're going to be wanting to use if you're studying overseas or you're going on a trip. And unfortunately, you only get a $25 sign-up bonus if you set up automatic payments for 3 months, which is a pretty low sign-up bonus compared to the other cards on this list, but I do like that Chase is rewarding you for setting up automatic payments. And similar to the Saver card, after you're ready to travel, you can get the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which doesn't really give you any extra reward categories. It does give you 2 points back on travel and then 3 points back on online groceries. But of course, the main point of getting that card would be to open up the Chase Travel Portal. And also that card comes with a 60,000 point sign-up bonus. If you want some extra value, you can also open up the Chase Freedom Flex. And if you want some serious travel perks, you can get the Sapphire Reserve instead of the Preferred, but that's a topic for another video. So the reason why I think this card is so good is number 1, it's unsecured, so you're using the bank's money instead of yours. Number 2, it's very easy to get a credit limit increase and then also upgrade to a new card. And then number 3 is that you can pair it with one of the Sapphire cards or use it in the Chase Trifecta and have your travel setup locked down. There's a lot of other student cards that I could have included on this list, like the Bank of America student cards, and then also some good secured cards too, but I really don't think that there's a better path than the 3 that I laid down today. If you want to learn more about the Discover card that I talked about, you can click this video here.